What's going on, everybody? I am Rob with the Curated Culture, and this is the Moto Razr 5G. What is happening, everybody? I am Rob, and today we're taking another look at a brand new mobile device, cellular device, what have you, called the Moto Razr. Now, a lot of you may remember back in the day, the Moto Razr was not a smartphone. It was actually a bare bones, basic flip phone that sported a really cool, really unique design. Well, that phone has been brought forth into 2020, quite possibly the worst year ever, and it is now a smartphone boasting several smartphone features. Are those features good? Are they bad? Are they otherwise? We're gonna find out. But first, before we get into it, let's get down to brass tacks, if you will. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so you don't miss a video. And also make sure you turn on the notifications. That's right, click that bell icon so you get notified each and every time that I upload so that you don't miss a video. Why would you want to miss a video? I know, you don't. So make sure you click that bell icon. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at the phone. So believe it or not, this is actually the Razr's second foray into the smartphone world. About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, Motorola revamped and re-released the Razr as a smartphone. This guy here is the second version of that phone, but it now includes 5G. Motorola also bumped the processor up to a Snapdragon 765G, which is the same processor that's found in the new OnePlus phone. It is also found in the LG Velvet, the recently announced Google Pixel 5, and now the Moto Razr as well. I've had very limited testing with this phone, but in my short time with it, I can't say that I like it a whole lot. It's not that it's a terrible phone at all. If you watched my last video on the Samsung Z Flip, you know, one of the biggest things that bugs me is having to flip the phone open, right? Like, I can't really see that being a novel thing for myself. I know back in the day that was the thing, right? You wanted to be able to flip the phone open, and then especially if you were mad at somebody, you could just flip it closed. But you probably don't want to do that with this one, because this is like a $1,400 phone, and you don't want to slam it closed too hard and ruin that beautiful display on the inside. Speaking of which, the display on the inside is a 6.2-inch POLED screen. That is a plastic OLED, so it is not the same type of screen that's used in the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. This one is a little bit different, and you can actually tell how different it is by the display itself. Now, remember, if you watched my Z Flip review, which if you haven't, pause, go watch it, and then come back. If you watch that review, you'll know there was one thing about the display on the Z Flip that I really disliked. It was the little gap, the little crease in the screen. Well, Motorola took it upon themselves to somehow intensify the crease that's in the display here, and it's a full-blown bulge with this phone, and you can see it quite good when you go to fold the phone closed, right? I would imagine that is part of having a plastic display, but let me tell you, not good. When you're scrolling, you can feel it. It feels almost bubble-like in the middle of the display. And for some people, it may not be a deal breaker, but for me, I'm used to having just like the plain, smooth scrolling experience like what I have with my Pixel and on iPhone as well. There's also a really weird design to the outside of the phone. The power button is tucked on the left-hand side of the phone, and it's like this really small nub. And the volume buttons are on the right hand side of the phone, which are kind of like this, it's a really thin bar. In most phones it's still a thin bar, but on this one it's really thin, which can lead to a couple of issues largely because that bar also acts as your shutter control when you're using the front-facing selfie camera. Now, it's not all bad with this phone in particular, but it is mostly bad. One of my favorite features of the phone, just so that I'm not super duper negative about it, is actually the display on the front of the device. So the display on the front of the device blows the mini display on the Galaxy Z Flip out of the water. Why? Let me show you. So one of my favorite things about this phone in particular is actually the display up front. It's way better than the Z Flip. And the cool thing about it is kind of fully functional. So you can actually unlock it and you can swipe to go through several little mini apps and things like that. You get full-fledged notifications, text messages, emails, things like that. And then it also has a really neat camera shortcut right on the front. So you can flip it over to the front-facing camera and take a picture while still having the phone closed. Now, remember how I said earlier that the skinniness, the thinness of the volume button on the side was an issue? Well, here's why. A lot of times when you have that front-facing camera open, you're trying to take a selfie with it. It's so small and the phone is built so a little awkward, not really ergonomically friendly. A lot of times I ended up accidentally activating the camera shutter. So there's lots of pictures of my nostril or over the shoulder shot instead of what I was trying to do. It's not really a deal breaker in that sense, but definitely not something that I enjoy about the phone. Another thing that wasn't really super fun about this device is in 2020, the year of our Lord, 2020, this phone has a single speaker on the bottom. Yuck. Yes, I know, single speakers are completely and totally a thing of the past unless you buy this phone. Now, I was expecting the sound to not really be very good on here, but it was really unnerving how bad the sound was. To me, I'm used to, again, stereo sound phones, things like the Samsungs, the S20, the S20 Ultra, the S20 Plus, the Note 20, the Note 20 Ultra, the Pixel 4 XL, all have stereo speakers. And for this guy to be a smartphone, especially with the price tag that it carries, and for it to only have one speaker, not a good experience at all. Very big damaging blow, in my opinion, to this device. So I know what you're thinking. Rob, what does this phone do well? What do you actually like about it? Well, the truth is, honestly, not much. But I am a fan of the design. Not necessarily the screen design, but rather the phone itself. It does actually have a really neat, modern, industrial look to it. I'm a really big fan of the single hinge here. It looks like a single piece of aluminum. The phone is very sturdy feeling. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. And that is a bonus. Now, another big bonus that I like about it, nostalgia, of course, is that really big chin on the bottom there, which is essentially just a throwback to the original design of the OG Razer. Now, speaking of nostalgia, the phone actually has a really neat, cool Easter egg to it, which is called Retro Razer. Now, Retro Razer is tucked away in the quick settings menu, and you have to do a little bit of digging to find it, but once you do, you can activate it and it looks really sweet. It takes your phone from looking like a standard smartphone with a standard display into, ta-da, Retro Razer, complete with the old school keyboard, the light, the backlit, metallic keys, the display. This is actually really awesome. It looks old school. It's got the old school menu, and yes, it disables the touchscreen, so to speak, and it forces you to use the lower half of the display to operate it. Really cool stuff there. It doesn't really serve a purpose outside of, again, pure nostalgia, but a nice little Easter egg that Motorola tucked away into the phone. All in all, the Moto Razr 5G is, I guess, an okay phone if your standards are unlike mine. Some people will actually love this device. For me personally, it's not really a big deal. There's a lot of big misses that could have actually made the experience and made the usability a lot better. If you put me into a corner and forced me to choose between this Razer and the Samsung Z Flip, I would rock with the Z Flip all day long if I had to choose a foldable device to begin with. Be that as it may, this phone will be headed your way Friday, October 2nd, which is a couple of short days from today. I believe it's going to retail at $13.99, so $1,400. Carriers are actually going to be tossing exclusive deals on this to get the price a little bit lower than that. And Motorola themselves are offering $200 off if you pre-order, so you might be able to snag one for yourself very, very soon. All right, guys, that was a quick look at the brand new Moto Razr 5G. Headed your way Friday, October 2nd. If you guys like this video, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. Let me know that you liked it. Most importantly though, drop a comment down below. I love engaging in community conversation. So let me know how you feel about the Moto Razr 5G. Am I way off base in my semi-hatred for this phone? What's your favorite feature on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. You guys can catch up with me via @Robbie Diesel on the tweets, on the Instagram, on the Snapchats, and you can also catch up with Curated Culture via @_Curated Culture on Twitter and @TheCuratedCulture Culture on Facebook and Instagram. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. I'm gonna go play retro Razer a little bit more and see if maybe I can find myself enthralled in a game of Snake. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.